Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're up to. Hi. Coffee cheers. And I'm Catherine Oster. Thank you so much for joining me, watching this video later in the future. Hello, guys who are just joining. Anyway, hi, Jackie. Okay, I'm gonna get a little distracted now with people jumping on. All right. Well, no more distraction. Hi, Shannon. Shannon, how are you? So great to energetically connect with you this morning. Hey, Mom. Good morning. Okay, so for those of you that might not know, I have two kids. My son is 13 and my daughter is 10. And hi, Ross. And this summer with my 10-year-old daughter, my son's really easy. He's just like really easy. And he's just getting into a teenager. So far that's going well, but I think my 10-year-old daughter is hitting her preteen stuff already. And we had a moment this summer when she went away to camp and she was uncomfortable. She was feeling homesick. She didn't really want to stay. I think I did a coffee chat about that. Hello. Oh, thank you, Shannon. I'm so glad. Hi, Loretta. Anyway, she was like just upset on the phone and crying and wanted me to come and pick her up and save her was basically the energy of it. She was at camp last year and she was totally fine. And so I was just really kind of like, what's going on here, you know? And anyway, I reached out to another facilitator friend, and this facilitator friend, hello, Tammy, she asked me, Catherine, what would you like to do with your daughter? Do you want to save her, control her, or facilitate her? And I'm like, well, I would love to be her facilitator and empower her, you know, to be greater. And I laughed because I could tell she was trying to control me with her feelings. So anyway, long story short, I'm like, listen, Helena, couple more days, you know, like, and I asked her more questions, obviously, like, do you really feel unsafe? Is there stuff going on where you don't feel safe, where, you know, things that you're not comfortable with? Like, I asked her a few more questions, and the energy I got was that she was fine there, you know, because I also want to empower her, like, if she's not in a safe situation, to get out of there. But the energy I got was everything was fine. And I also did check in with her cabin leader just, you know, and everything was good. So I'm like, stay for a few more days. Anyway, long story short, when I went to pick her up, she thanked me for getting her to stay longer because she ended up having a lot of fun. So now we're going to fast forward into more facilitation. So she's recently gotten a new horse, and she told me that she wants to show in dressage shows this summer. And she's very excited about that. She wants to work really hard and she wants to do her best. And she wants to ride as a Grand Prix dressage rider in the Olympics. Like, that's her future targets, you know, those, and yeah, dream big. Absolutely. So with her and her new horse, he's really great, but there's a few little things that I noticed we should work on. One, for example, is when she gets on him, he just wants to walk away right away. Like, he doesn't wait for her to get her feet in the stirrups or get herself gathered. Like, he just wants to go. Literally, as she's swinging her leg over the saddle, he wants to start walking. Which, I mean, he doesn't do anything bad, but what needs to happen is we need to switch that around where he's waiting for her. Like, in the relationship of her with her horse, she needs to become the leader of him, her horse, and she needs to be the one to say whether we wait or go, right? And so I noticed this was happening, and I asked her, I'm like, well, do you want to change this? And do you want him to stand still for you while you're getting on? And she's like, yes, can we change this? And I'm like, yes. So it's been a couple of weeks, but we've only probably worked on it about 6 or 7 times with Harvest. Where when she goes to get on, if he walks away, I'm like, we don't get rough with him or louder, we just keep saying, no, wait, by asking him to back up. And then she softens her hold on the reins, the pressure on the reins. And if he stands, then she lets him stand and gets herself gathered. But oftentimes, as soon as she softens the pressure on the reins, he wants to walk again. So he doesn't got the stand thing, right? So I'm like, okay, well, back up again. Let's see, will he stand? Nope, back up again. Will he stand? Nope, back up again. Will he stand? Yes. And then we give him a pat and tell him, good boy. And then, so in the beginning, it was a lot of repetition of that exercise, of showing him that we want him to stand. So when she did get him to stand, like, let's say in the beginning, she would be backing him up about 6 or 7 times. Like, he was quite adamant that he didn't want to stand still. He just wanted to go. Which is kind of like him not really being present with her and just doing his own thing, which is fine if that's which is fine in most cases. He's not a horse that's going to take advantage, but what I have learned in the past with my own horse, if there's something like that, that is just where they're just not present with you and you're not together and you're not the one in the lead, then when you get into a high pressure situation, like at a horse show, that little incongruity between the horse and rider gets louder, and then it's kind of a wreck. And then so I know this from experience. So I told her, I'm like, she was getting a little frustrated because she always had to keep repeating it a little bit. He just wouldn't stand still, right? And I said to Helene, I'm like, well, do you want to leave this and just be okay with him walking away on you? Or do you want to keep addressing this? Because what I know is if we don't address this now, you're going to run into a little bit of trouble in the show ring, especially when he has to do his halted X, he's not going to stand. So what do you want to do? And she's like, no, Mom. Okay, Mom, we need to do this. And I'm like, okay. So it was just repeating. And then eventually, he stood. But, so anyway, why I want to talk to you about this is because it was a few times. And then yesterday, when she went on to ride him, he literally stood at the mounting block right away, right off the bat. And she was so happy. She was like so proud of herself. And I was happy for her. And she's like, Mom, did you see that? I'm like, I did. And she's like, I can't believe it. And I'm like, that's so awesome. Like, go have your ride now. And I let her ride and do her thing. And I do other stuff. And after she was in riding, so Helene has also been struggling with something else going on that she's got going on for herself right now. And I'll probably tell you more about that another day, but, that she's wanting to change with herself. And anyway, she came to me after the ride and she's like, Mom, did you know I just trained like a 1,500-pound horse? I trained him. I showed him what I wanted him to do and he did it for me. And I taught him that. And I'm like, you did? Yes. And she's like, I really feel like if I can do that, then I can change this other thing too. And I'm like, yeah, you can. And I was so proud of her. And I really looked at it. I'm like, that's me being a facilitator for her, empowering her to know that when there's things not quite working in her life, this was with her horse, that if you just keep being present with it, if you don't have to get harsher or louder or more aggressive, you just have to keep being present and repeating and keep going, it will change. And her horse showed her that. And now that's empowering her in another area of her life. And I'm like, wow, like how does it get better than that? And I was so excited. And she just felt so strong. And I'm like, that is the fucking gift of being a facilitator. And, it's been 2018 is when I went to my first facilitator training with Access Consciousness. So that's been about 5 years now that I have been cultivating, strengthening my facilitator muscle. And the gift of that is I wasn't in judgment of her. Like, I didn't think that, or the horse. They're like, when we go to the wrongness of something and we need to make it right, that actually makes it more stuck. But if you look at it from this other energy of like, well, this just doesn't work for me, and what do I want it to be like? Not that it's wrong or you're wrong and you're not trying to get it right. You're just like, it doesn't work. And then how can I change this? From, what are all the possibilities of changing this? And you are more of this space of being as a facilitator. You can then allow the person you are facilitating the space and the presence to actually change it from the energy that you're being and the questions you're asking and the supporting. And so that's the gift of working with the facilitator. And that was the gift of also what that other facilitator was for me, to allow me to see, I have a choice with her. Do I want to control her and always tell her what to do? Do I want to save her from herself, or save her from the world, or from, disappointment? Or do I want to empower her and facilitate her? And I'm like, that. So that's what we've been working on. So cool. Anyway, I also see this. I also love that I get to do this with other clients, whether I coach them in writing lessons. They don't actually know, like I don't. Anyway, now I'm starting to ramble. Hi, Ruby. So, if you are really looking to change something in your life and you're feeling really stuck with it, send me a message. We can set up a session time. We can ask some questions. I can be this space for you, or another facilitator as well. I'm not the only one, and there's people that are not even certified facilitators with access that are amazing facilitators of consciousness. Just reach out, because when you're in the thick of it, you don't get it. You don't see the path or the other perspective. And if you really want like 4 days to really shake up your life and change it, take a bars and foundation class. And if you've already taken a bars, just take a foundation class. That you get into a depth of change that I haven't seen or experienced anywhere else. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me, you guys, live. And thank you to those of you watching in the future. If you have any questions or comments, send me a message, and I will see you later. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.